If you're someone struggling to generate money to save for your retirement, stick around. We're going to cover a bunch of tips that can help you. Many people in their 40s and 50s are supporting children, aging parents, or both. If you have children, you're either preparing to send them to college, which means you have college tuition to consider. In your 40s, definitely your health premiums are much greater than they were in your 20s and 30s. And you have home mortgages, auto loans, auto insurance, credit card debt, etc., etc. All these deplete your resources to save for retirement. So how do we overcome these challenges? So let's start with credit card loans. Credit card loans are some of the biggest wealth killers that you can think of. Paying over 20% in interest rate, 24% in many cases, is enormous. It is going to seriously hinder you from investing for your retirement. So pay that off as soon as possible. So if you don't have the money to pay off your credit card loan, my advice would be to get a personal loan at a significantly lower interest rate. Get the personal loan, provided you have good credit history and good credit score, your ability to pay off your credit card loans on a regular basis. If you have them both, you should be able to find a good personal loan from your bank. Use that money to pay off the high interest credit card. This is assuming that you're not paying your credit card every month in full. If you're doing that, you're not going to have any interest charges. That doesn't mean that you should make that a habit, but at least if you have a habit of paying off your credit card loan every month in full, then this is not particularly a huge issue for you. However, using it as little as possible is a wise choice. The second is the auto loan that I want to talk about. If the reason why you're not able to save enough is because you're driving an expensive car and you have a big auto loan to pay to account for that expensive car, I say get rid of that car immediately. You don't need that car. Don't buy things to impress people you don't like. And for people who like you and love you, they don't care what kind of car you drive. They really don't. Get a reliable second-hand car, pay it off in full. Don't have an auto loan debt. By nature, it's a depreciating asset. So there's no point in trying to spend a lot of money on an asset that is going to depreciate over time and going to be practically worthless in a few years. Talking about auto insurance premiums can be very high, especially if you have teenagers driving with you. So always constantly shop around looking for better premium from competing companies. Better premiums are out there, and cross-shopping can significantly help reduce your insurance premiums. If you have a home mortgage, and if you're paying more than 30% of your salary for your home mortgage, you're clearly living in a home that you can't afford. It's plain and simple. If you're living in a home, and that is fundamentally one of the main reasons why you're not able to save, get out of that house, sell the place, go to a place where you can afford to live better. Don't be house poor. Don't sacrifice your retirement savings at the expense of living in a gigantic home because that you like it. We all like fabulous things, but that doesn't mean that we can afford everything that we like. We have to make some sacrifices if you have to hit your retirement goals. It's a habit that you need to instill in yourself. Live well within your means. If that means you need to downsize your home or move to a different neighborhood, so be it. So here are 3 key things that I want you to shoot for. One is you need to get rid of your credit card debt immediately. It's a wealth killer. The second is always work to create a cash reserve. And I would say that, if you have a cash reserve, let's say of $10,000, it's better than zero. You need to have enough cash reserve to account for at least 3 to 6 months of your living expenses. When I talk about these cash reserves, I am talking about emergency funds. Now, there is something that I call as buffer that is more related to your retirement savings that comes into picture when you get closer to your retirement. The buffer, what it does is it is going to account for fluctuating market conditions, whereby it lets you not sell stocks or mutual funds in a severely down market, because that can erode into your compounding for the future. So it's a different thing. I'm not going to be talking in detail about buffer. I do have a video that talks about buffer, which my previous video. I can provide a link to that video. But I'm here talking about the emergency funds, cash reserve, cash reserve. Buffers are usually not typically cash reserves. They are more like, fixed income securities like treasuries or bonds or even high interest paying money market accounts. These days you can get 4 to 4.5% on interest rate on those securities. That's what I'm referring to. We are not going to be talking about that in this video. The third point that I want to mention is save at least 15%. Make that a goal. If you can do 20%, it's even better. If it's less than 10%, you're really not going to reap a lot of benefits. Keep in mind that money needs time to grow. And the more money you put, the earlier you put, the fatter your retirement savings are going to be. You're going to like it 20 years from now when you look back and say, yep, I'm glad I did what I did and the sacrifices that I made. All these things come with some sacrifice that you need to make. But trust me, it's well worth it. For most of us, these tips have certainly helped me save the day, and because of which I'm able to retire today. So I'm talking from my own personal experience, and I want to do that favor to you. Get out of credit card debt. Don't drive expensive cars if you can't afford it. The third biggest wealth killer is huge mortgage payments. Don't live in a house that you can't afford to live simply because you have a bunch of friends who are living there. You don't know their conditions. So don't copy other people. Do what's best for you. And that's my best advice. If you need to know, once you have generated enough money to save for investment, and you need to know what are some of the considerations that you need to make in your 40s, click on this video and I'm going to explain in detail many other things that you can do. This is more related to investment itself. So I'll see you there. Bye-bye.